That's so sad.
I mean, let's see. It shouldn't be that. Oh, you have other one.
And we're live again. Are we back?
I am not sure. It's so say bad connection.
I don't know. We might be live. We might not be live.
It says reconnect though.
I don't know. We have 5 likes.
You're like, you guys are freezing.
Okay, we're live again.
There you go.
All right.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Our connection's really bad. It just keeps flashing bad connection. But we wanted to answer some questions. So if you guys have questions
About
go
relationships,
ahead, or relationships or anything. But I also just want to ask you questions because you're a zero waster, and I kind of just want to introduce you to this community and kind of share your story and your experience and how you've kind of been able to live this lifestyle. And I know that you also produce a lot of medical waste, so I would love for you to touch on that because I know that's a frequently asked question that I get. So
I think people are particular about work trash, is that right? Work waste. So it's not perfect, guys, but I think you still have to do your job because that's how you make money.
yeah, everyone has to make a living, and a lot of the times there's trash associated with that. And not just that, a lot of times there are trash you can't really avoid, especially if you have any medical issues or just a lot of things that might dictate like a certain lifestyle, and that's okay.
Medications come in plastic, so that's not something that we can avoid, and I feel like your health is more important than anything else. So
it truly is. Your health is number one, and it's really important to not only understand that but really live that way. So just keep that into consideration. So tell us about your zero waste story. How did you kind of get into this world?
Okay, so my zero waste story is I started watching documentaries on Netflix about waste and how the environment is slowly being destroyed with, human activities. And I decided to just challenge myself for 30 days to do it. And I fell in love with the process. And now I'm living zero waste for more than a year.
So a 30-day challenge, and now this is your full-blown lifestyle. So we have to do something here in this community. We're gonna have to establish some like 21-day challenge or something.
I know,
to force you guys to try it out, because once you do it, you kind of realize it's not that scary.
Yeah, I think people are kind of skeptical to give it a try, but really it's just like being educated about how you would start. You have to know why you're doing it and how you're going to do it. So that would really push you to be better and making great choices, and that will help you dramatically to reduce your waste and just practice lifestyle effortlessly.
So I'll ask you a question that we just got. What is a good way to convince others in your family to go zero waste? Now, I want to really quickly add something. You cannot convince anyone to do anything at all. So take that into consideration. But what are some of the ways that you have kind of influenced and just inspired others to become zero waste?
I think it's just like practicing it by yourself, and then if people see it and they get inspired, I think that's the best that you can do. If they start asking you questions, educate them and hope for the best. Hope that they would make small changes, but you can't really force your values to other people, otherwise they won't listen to you.
I 100% agree. Just live your life by example, and others will slowly follow or get curious or start adopting little habits. You don't realize how much people start to kind of mimic what you do. So that's my biggest recommendation, to just do you, and then hopefully other people kind of look at that. We've got a few more questions. Hello from Puerto Rico. What can you do when you only have a regular supermarket where you live? I am hopefully going to do a video. I'm going to do a 2-week challenge where I'm only allowed to shop at Walmart because I feel like that's the most like universal supermarket here. So I'm going to do that and kind of look for different products and items. So do myself a challenge, but it's not perfect. You can't really do that. Do you have any input on that?
I support farmers market. If you guys have farmers market, I feel like it is a big help.
Yeah, locally, if you have anyone in your area that's a farmer, even if you kind of make a connection, I know there's a lot of community supported agriculture that you can join. So maybe look into that and see what you can do there.
That's right.
All right, we had a couple more questions. I am a teen and super interested in transitioning to zero waste and veganism. My problem is that I am living under my parents' roof and I cannot really dictate what my mom. Yes, Grace, this one. This one's very true. Do you have anything to say?
I'm living alone, so I have the freedom to make my own choices.
Okay, so it's really difficult when you are with people who aren't living the same lifestyle as you and who will say that. But the biggest thing is kind of taking agency of what you're doing. So like being in charge of what you eat and stuff like that. But it's going to be really hard, especially when you're young. But if you start to kind of implement little things and maybe encourage your parents to bring bags to the grocery store and maybe encourage them to eat a certain way, you might be able to change that way. But it is really difficult. So my biggest recommendation is get involved in the actual shopping part of your life and get involved in how your lifestyle is, and like set up a compost in your house. Like you kind of have to take action because you can't expect them to do it. But it is a really hard thing, Grace, and it's just it's hard, and it's but I think
one option too is cook for your parents, and
they'll love that.
Don't tell them it's vegan.
No.
Because I feel like people are kind of like, meh, it's vegan. Just make like a good vegan food, and then just don't tell them it's vegan. Just let them eat it.
Yeah.
And then I think that would be a good solution, I guess.
Yeah, any parent will love it if you cook for them, or if you shop for them, if you take out the trash, or they'll really appreciate that. But those are just some of the little things. I think that's it. But we discussed a lot of different questions this whole time. We've had some delicious zero waste lunch and tea time. We just had tea time. Oh yeah, we had some delicious nachos. They were vegan. They were jackfruit, which was amazing, and we had some cauliflower wings, which were really good. But one of the things that we were talking about was having relationships when you're zero waste, and kind of how to go about that and what's important in your lifestyle.
Let me ask that question again.
Oh, you're gonna ask me that question again. Go ahead.
So Manuela, are you going to date someone who is not zero waste or is not vegan?
Okay, without going too much into like detail and personal life, I think that's one of the hardest things that I've personally encountered is developing a relationship with someone when you don't share similar values. And there's a lot of people who think I'm crazy for living the way I do, and it's like, cuckoo, she doesn't own a trash can, that's like really weird.
She doesn't like plastic.
She doesn't like plastic, like she's vegan. And it has been a really big challenge. But at the same time, I think that you shouldn't have to compromise your beliefs or your life. And I don't know if you'll find someone who's exactly the same thing as you. That's not a very doable thing. But if you kind of live your lifestyle, going back to what we mentioned earlier, maybe you'll be able to find someone who is willing to take those steps, is willing to compromise and adjust. But it's a really hard thing, because one of the things for me personally is I want to be able to share a meal with someone and eat the same thing. Like, I want to be able to cook and eat the same thing. So I think honestly, diet might trump like zero waste, because I want to have a similar diet, and the person doesn't have to be vegan, but at least be willing to eat plant-based when we're like together or something like that.
Because that would be hard, like cooking 2 meals.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, there's something so nice of being like cooking a meal together. I think that's a really bonding experience. Meals, we're outside if you can't tell. Meals in general are, they allow for like this special connection and bond.
That's right.
So we have a few more questions. Unless you want to keep going on the relationship. Do you have any follow-ups for me?
I think you basically answered.
Okay. Hi from Greece, and what would be the first step to start being zero waste? I'm going to let you answer that.
Okay, so if you visit Bea Johnson's blog, there's like 5 R's, and I feel like that's really helpful. It is refuse, reuse, I hope I'm saying reduce, recycle, and rot. If you follow those steps, it would be easier for you to transition. And yeah, just like go easy on yourself, I guess. You went cold turkey, right?
I went cold turkey, but I'm also a very extreme person. That's just my personality. But I don't encourage people to do what I did, to be honest. I think people will have a really hard time. But that's just the way I am. I went vegan cold turkey. I went zero waste cold turkey. Minimalism, I did kind of step into it. But even that, I kind of went like, oh, I have a whole room full of stuff. Now I only have 2 suitcases. So I would just take it one step at a time, but those are really good steps.
And also like the most important part is to educate yourself. Know how to shop and know why you want to be zero waste, because if you have that reason, you have that strong will to keep on continuing the zero waste lifestyle. I think that's important.
So Amanda asks, what is the reason you are vegan? Have you considered how to get fat soluble vitamins as a vegan? So I went vegan for the environment mostly, and then since I've been vegan, I've kind of developed a connection to a lot of the other aspects of vegan, including health and the animals. But predominantly I decided to do it just because it does make a huge impact on the planet. I don't think everyone needs to be vegan. I'm not a huge pushy vegan. If you want to be vegan, great. If you want to eat a vegan meal, awesome. If you just want to eat less meat, great. That's going to be a huge impact on the environment.
Yeah, it's so, small changes can add up, and it's a big help. I think people are too scared to even try. And just do it.
Yeah, just kind of live your life and do that. Can you share a few recipes for college students?
I do have some videos.
Oh, she has
on my
videos
channel
for college students.
It is simple, but
simple.
Sure.
All right, so you're gonna have to check out her channel and go check out those videos. She just answered it right there. Check out. Will you tell them your full name so they can check you out?
Okay, my channel is Jamie Kate Adolf. I guess you can just link my.
I don't know how to do that on here.
But
let's see if we can type. No, we cannot type.
Or you can just check out my Instagram. It's Jamie Kate 11, and then I have my YouTube channel linked there. So
Jamie Kate 11 on Instagram, and then you can find her YouTube through that. Sammy asks, I find it hard to go zero waste with a large family. Do you have any suggestions?
Large family, like what we said, just practice.
I'm gonna say this, and it's something we talked about earlier. I say you just buy things in actual bulk, not from bulk, because in the end, the amount of food you're buying and eating from Costco, for example, is going to be equivalent to what a bulk bin store puts in their containers, their dispensers. So you're kind of skipping the middleman, and if you're eating so much and you're consuming so much of something,
rice.
If you're consuming a ton of rice or a ton of beans a week, go ahead and just buy those massive sacks of them from those bulk stores, because you're going to go through it a lot, and it's going to be actually about the equivalent of buying it from a bulk bin store. So I recommend that, and there's a lot of different things you can do. Definitely farmers market, you get a lot of produce really cheap. You can get a large quantity, and especially if you work with farms directly, you can get large boxes for half the cost of a normal store, so you can feed your family that way. But obviously, it's difficult. There's always going to be someone who brings home trash, so you just kind of have to be a little bit flexible and allow yourself that leeway of, hey, you can't force everyone in your family to be a certain way. They're all individuals. They all have their own opinion and lifestyles, but you can definitely have a foundation of hey, we don't really use plastic water bottles, or hey, maybe stick reusable bags in their purses and backpacks and things, just so when they're out and about, they use that instead.
Yeah, and take control, serve meals, what I said, or do the groceries for the family, and then when they see how you do it, maybe they will adapt some of your practices. I think just that's the best that you can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things. Thanks. People are so sweet. Okay. What would be the first step to start minimalism? I have a beginner's guide to minimalism. I think that's a really good starter and kind of the foundation. but I would suggest thinking about your like why, or visualizing what this will bring you, because that will help guide you through the whole thing. Like, what will your life be like at the end? Are you going to have more time? Are you going to have to clean less? Are you going to feel better? Like, what is it that you want from this? Because you can just declutter to declutter,
Right.
but that's not really minimalism. It's just decluttering. Like, as much as I like the what is it, KonMari
Yeah.
method, she's just a declutter. Like, she establishes that, but unless you really hone in on like, this is what I want to live, you're just gonna keep decluttering like over and over again.
I like her concept of asking yourself though, does this spark joy? I think when you only keep the things that make you happy and is valuable to you, I think.
I like her second book better, the Spark Joy book. I think it really hones in on that idea of
Right.
like, this is amazing, this is what you want, this is gonna make you really happy. But just kind of establish a mental declutter before you physically declutter, I guess is what I would say.
Always know your whys. Why
Your
are you
why
doing
for
this?
everything. I mean, the only way to keep doing something is if you establish that. Another question on minimalism. My mother-in-law often tries to get my husband and I items that we don't want, or how to refuse gifts.
Yes.
How do you say no thank you to a gift? So, do you have anything first?
It was hard for me too, but then I just approach everyone individually in my family. I message them on Facebook because I can't like bring myself to talk to them in person, but I messaged my family on Facebook and told them for Christmas not to give me anything, but you know, it would be helpful if they still want to give me something, gift cards or cash would be better because I like traveling. That can go to my travel fund, or just no gifts at all, and they're pretty good with it. They still gave me gift cards, but at least it was like almost a zero waste Christmas for me. So
Yeah.
how about you?
That's good. Yeah, I think everyone in my life knows me very well at this point, at least the people close to me. There are people that will randomly end up giving me gifts and things. I think if you really establish and tell people why, or give them an alternative. For me, it was really establishing like, hey, while I love the gifts you typically give me, I'm really trying to help this orphanage. And can you please, instead of giving me this, can you spend the same amount of money and donate it to this cause?
That's a
and
good
most of the time, because it's something so important, people will actually agree to it. For Secret Santa, our big family has a Secret Santa, and everyone has been, the last couple of years, have donated me like a small amount of money, and it typically ends up being more money than they would have like spent on a gift towards an orphanage. And like, it's like they'll write a card or give me some candy and just like the money for that. So it's just like, you have to give them the clear set, or tell them you want something specific, because then they'll like be more likely. But obviously, just be
that's a
really
good
nice
one.
about it. Try to explain it.
Yeah.
They might not get it.
Don't flip out.
Don't freak out. Don't
Yeah.
be like me. That's like the biggest thing.
Don't get mad like, why are you giving me this?
Yeah.
Don't.
Amanda, for your question about what makes a vegan diet better for the environment, I recommend you watch. Wow, now I'm totally speaking.
Earthlings.
The movie. Leonardo DiCaprio produced it. What's it called? Cowspiracy. Cowspiracy on Netflix. Kind of explains it a lot. There's a few books on it too. But essentially, there's just the animal agriculture industry uses up a lot of resources, and a vegan diet uses a lot less water, a lot less land to produce the same amount of food. But that's just a thing. Like I said, I'm not like pushy and like forcing people to go vegan, but that's what made me want to be a vegan. And I mean, here, at least in Los Angeles, we're currently in Los Angeles. If to pre-frame, I'm
It's
currently
vegan friendly.
yeah, I'm visiting. I'm from Florida, but we're in California, and it's so vegan friendly. We just had vegan chocolate cake.
That was funny what you said earlier. I'm so used to just having 3
Yeah,
options.
I never have options at restaurants, and we just had a whole menu of options. So it was really, really nice. What do I do if I can't compost because I live in a small apartment? What do you do to compost?
Well, I have LA is very good with composting. We have a curbside compost bin, but personally,
no one has that.
Personally, I bring my compost to a garden church where they compost it and then they use the soil for their vegetables, and then they sell the vegetables at the farmers market. So
that's lovely.
it's like that's where the circular economy.
Circular economy from Andrea. So I used to vermicompost inside my apartment, and I no longer do that. I actually was able to convince a really amazing friend of mine to build a compost in his backyard. So I live in a tiny, well, not a tiny apartment anymore, but I live in an apartment, and I was having a really hard time with that. So I convinced him. We built this awesome wooden compost in his backyard. So once a week I drop it off at his house. I freeze it. So any food scraps I put it in my freezer, and then I'll take it out of my freezer and put it in his bin. And we are actually building a garden in his backyard so that we have like vegetables. So we're currently in the process of doing that, but that's just lucky. I would check out your local schools. A lot of them have compost for like gardens. I would check out your local farmer, your local farmer's market, your local community supported agriculture. I know Florida has some. They're around everywhere. You just kind of have to search for it. And just ask, gardening clubs a lot of the time have public composting areas where you can just drop off your compost.
Right.
So I would try to make some connections, ask for favors. If you don't want to do it in your apartment, you can't have a compost in your apartment. It's just one of those, like, I had a huge fruit fly problem. So
Yes.
I mean, it's just kind of
Especially with the bananas.
Yeah, bananas and fruit flies. So just kind of figure out what's best for your personal situation. But ask around. A lot of cities have some sort of composting, even if you don't think they do. There's a lot of people who care about this. Okay.
There goes the toilet paper.
Oh, where? Oh, is this it?
Yeah,
Okay.
zero waste toilet paper. Okay, so I just bought a box of toilet paper. It's individually wrapped in paper, recycled paper, and the material is made of 100% post-consumer recycled paper, not from trees. So I think that's the best option that I can find rather than buying those packaged in plastic.
Yeah, but let's say, okay, I'm gonna point it into, like, I have been able to find some cool resources for toilet paper too. But when I first started, I didn't, and I bought a large thing of 7th generation toilet paper. So it was recycled toilet paper, and it came with plastic. The plastic itself was able to get recycled in where you recycle your plastic bags. So like at supermarkets, they have those boxes where you recycle the plastic bags. The wrapping that the toilet paper went in could be recycled there. So that's a solution if you're only have access to a regular supermarket, you're not able to find like maybe like a health food store, you don't want to order online. There are like solutions that might not be totally zero waste, but might be a little bit better than like the alternative or the like traditional toilet paper.
Right.
So there's just some options, because obviously not everyone can find certain things, but there are some amazing companies that are kind of making new things. Like Who Gives a Crap is like it's a cool company that makes toilet paper. You can also order toilet paper online, and it comes like package free. So there's just a little things, but obviously I read a comment about alkaline water bottles and how to convince your mom to stop buying alkaline water. That's a super trendy thing. I just recently learned about the alkaline diet. I don't know how much I believe in it, but I would just say the biggest thing would be educate on what that water bottle does. I guess maybe show her some videos of like albatross birds, and like their stomachs full of plastic. Maybe kind of picture it actually more visualized, because I think people just assume that recycling is a great system, but it's not.
It's not the answer.
I think maybe educating her a little bit more on what actually happens to that water bottle afterwards. Like, water bottles don't get recycled, they get downcycled. So a water bottle will never be a water bottle, it will only ever be something else, so like a park bench or something different. So
and also like try to research about BPA, because a lot of people don't realize that plastic has this chemical called BPA, and it's very, very dangerous when you are exposed for a long period of time. So I think that's one thing that people are not educated about. So I think passively? Is that like passively like sharing about it?
Yeah,
I like
just-
sharing.
I wouldn't be too
articles.
like, hey, you need to do this.
That
But
has
just, like,
BPA.
Yeah, it would just like casually be like, hey, you know, this or that, and just kind of
Or
like sneak it
the
in there.
best option is like, oh, would you like to use my water bottle? Like, I can bring you like a cup. Like, I'll just offer it. If they say no, then you know at least you tried.
Yeah. All right. We answered the toilet paper one. That's a really good point. So the question was about, is it better to use printed materials or computers, because computers in itself uses a lot of like chemicals and things to make them. I think most people have a computer regardless. I don't know a lot of people who don't. So that's something to take into consideration. Like our phones, the phone we're using right now to film this is obviously made out of a ton of materials and has a lot of
And it also has plastic.
negative plastic, a lot of really negative things. It's a thing, you know, no matter what, people are going to use this. As for student, what I typically do is I take all those handouts that people just give you, even though I don't want, and I use the back of them to take a lot of notes. And like scratch paper, when I do like math problems, I just do them on the scrap papers of these handouts that I don't want. Or tests, I do all my math on like last semester's tests. So that's a really good point to bring up. We were talking today that there's a lot of balance between what we're doing and whether or not it actually helps. So like, is buying from bulk actually better than not buying from bulk? There's a really big leeway. What else did we mention? There's just a lot of those where is like TerraCycle actually good? Is buying this actually better than that? Is glass better than that? Is electric cars better than non-electric cars? Because electric cars still use electricity. Some use solar power, but then the energy to make solar powers is really intense. So there's just like, there's no one real solution. And even with this lifestyle, I really don't think it's the most sustainable thing. I wish I could tell you exactly what to do and how to live this life and how perfect way to solve the thing, but it's not there. And this year has been the first year I genuinely noticed climate change.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I live in Florida, and typically in the month of like winter time, the water, the ocean gets really cold, so you don't go in the water. The tourists go in the water, but as a Floridian, you don't go in the water until like May. So it was March. I went to the water the other day. I went to the beach, and my friend went in swimming, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's freezing! How could you?" I was like, "That's insane! Like, how did you go in the water?" And I went and touched the water, and it was genuinely warm. Like, it was a really warm temperature. So warm that we all ended up going swimming. Like, it was very, very hot. And then here in Los Angeles, it rained a ton. It's been raining and raining and raining.
Hot.
I've been in Los Angeles a couple times, and this is the first time I've seen it
also
so
green.
I have never seen this landscape so green. So, I mean, there's no real one solution to anything, and I do think it's really important that we take actions, but I'm not sure what the actions actually are quite yet, because there are pros and cons to everything, including solar power, including all of this. Is there a way to buy organic, zero-waste furniture? Ooh, that's a good question.
I would still choose secondhand.
Yeah, I would choose secondhand furniture.
Better.
Just buy
for
things
me.
like that. I don't know. I mean, there probably are like a million places to sell organic furniture, like organic cotton furniture.
Yeah, but
I think,
sometimes they're more expensive.
oh yeah, like there are organic mattresses. They're ridiculously expensive, but I don't know. There's all these laws and regulations over like fire retardants. I think like the fire covers that all our furniture come in. So I feel like the lighting's been changing a ton. I feel like we're really dark. I don't know if we're really dark. Are we?
Like
It's a little
bit.
better.
There we go.
Let's put this here. We're gonna move. Here you go. Thank you so much, by the way, for asking questions. We can move our thing. We really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed this. We'll answer a few more questions and then we'll get off here. I think you need to move a little bit more.
Okay. There we go. Hello.
Okay.
You have to be like
Talk
really
more about your acne. So I think I'm gonna make a video on it, like a acne story type video, because I've been getting a lot of questions on it. But I suffered from really horrible acne, and then I changed my diet, changed the way I was living, and my acne got a lot better. But regardless, I was still on this like Accutane track. I was supposed to go on Accutane, and I had done a lot to do it. So I ended up going on Accutane anyway, even though my acne was getting a lot better. So I went on Accutane. I didn't really like it. I didn't really like the way it was working, but I decided to finish it. Didn't really help. Yes, gracias. And so essentially I then changed kind of like again the way I was living my life and what I was eating, and just really helped my skin. I mentioned it in my skincare routine video, so I recommend watching that. But I think I'm going to do a full-blown video talking about it so that people can kind of get a better idea.
I have friends say though that when they cut dairy in their diet, it kind of improved their skin.
Yeah, so I was on a full-blown meat-heavy diet. So I grew up pretty vegetarian, I didn't really eat a lot of dairy, and then I was living in France, and I ate yogurt every morning, and I was eating meat every evening, and I was eating baguettes and cheese, and just a really not healthy diet. I was really healthy, I wasn't getting sick, but my skin was reacting horribly. I had acne all over my chest, my back. I was actually in Southeast Asia, I was in the Philippines, and people would come up to me and go, "Oh no, the mosquitoes bit you." And it was the most embarrassing thing ever, because they weren't mosquito bites, they were acne, but like they didn't know that. And I was just like, yeah, the mosquitoes bit me, like horribly, oh my god. But really it was just like my skin, my like whole back was like full of little dots.
That's so funny.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god. They're like, yeah.
We're so sorry for the mosquitoes.
Oh, like the mosquitoes. I did get mosquito bites, but not that bad. Like people would like stop me on the street. It was funny. A lot of places, people would stop and take pictures of me, and I'm like not even that like Caucasian. Like I'm Hispanic, but like for them, it was like, oh, you're pretty. I had this like lady just stop and be like, you're pretty. Let's take pictures of you, and she wouldn't let me leave. She was like, no, you stand here, and we take photos.
Just in case you became
yeah.
famous. At least
Sorry, I got off track. I even forgot what the question was. Oh, the question was on acne. I'll make a video on it. Okay. If you check out Fairtrade USA, they will show you companies who make products that are ethically and sustainably made. Yeah, there's a lot of companies, and like personally, I study entrepreneurship, and there's a lot of amazing brands out there that are starting to be more conscious and provide a lot more different services and things. So I think there's a really good future for it. In one of my classes, we studied that people are more likely to spend more money on sustainable products, right, as long as they perform equally, which a lot of the times organic, vegan, healthy products don't. Okay, we're at 20%. We're gonna end this soon. But a lot of the time, these products don't perform as well, which is why people won't buy them. So as long as your product is really great, it'll be good. So even we were talking about earlier, Lauren Singer's. Hello, little guys. Are you my friend? There's a lot of birds now. Hi. So a lot of the times, even for Lauren Singer's laundry detergent, laundry detergent, well, back in the day we used to use powdered laundry detergent, and the reason we went to liquid powder detergent is because powder detergent leaves like powdery like residue on your clothes, and today I wore my dress and I realized it like left it on there. So that was the reason these marketers, these men, didn't do their own laundry, because they were like CEOs. So they had no idea how to do this. And then one day the company said, you have to do your own laundry for a month. So these big like Procter and Gamble guys had to go do their own laundry. Like CEOs making a ton of money had to go and do their own laundry. And that's when they realized, oh my God, this sucks. Like we get these residues, and that's why like liquid laundry detergent got made. So there's just little things where if we don't make liquid laundry detergent, it's like an innovation. We need to make the equivalent that is zero waste, that is healthy, right, that is whatever, not some other product. So it's just it's a weird balance, but there are some amazing companies, Lauren Singer included, that are like trying to change the way we think about things and like the system.
But you have to be careful also, because there are brands that are greenwashing. They broadcast it as sustainable or eco-friendly, but if you look at their ingredients, how it was processed, it is not green at all. So just
Right.
do your research, be more aware.
Yeah, you definitely really have to be careful about how things work. I'm worried. I don't know if you guys can hear us very well. Maybe you should sit closer. But we'll answer a few more questions. So if you have your last minute questions, we'll do like a rapid fire ones. Along the same lines as your comments about climate change with the recent funding cuts. Yeah, there's so many funding cuts for the APA. What are some of the ways that individuals can continue to protect the environment and defend the planet? Activism. I think that it's really important to get involved with your community. In Tampa Bay, I joined the Rise Above Plastics Coalition. It's a group with, what's the word? I don't know. It's like a sub of Surfrider, and so I'm really working in the community to pass like legislation, on like plastic bans, and just working with different like politicians, and they even have like a lobbying group, and like just really getting involved, because unless you make your voice heard,
Yes.
no one's gonna hear it. So I think kind of stepping out of the social media realm and really stepping into like the real world and making a difference.
Also, you can donate to non-profit organizations that support like banning of plastic, because sometimes they need funds in order to continue, and people don't realize that it's a big of help to actually contribute and give even small amount of money. Just donate what you can, and just practice it. So that's also helpful. Here in LA, we have you heard of Five Gyres?
Yeah.
So we have Five Gyres, and they focus about banning plastics to save the ocean. So it's a very good organization as well.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna do rapid fire. Woo. Oh, hold on. I know a lot of people
I
said.
think that's
Do you have any suggestions for this? Yeah, calling your congressman, doing things like that, donating to different organizations, but really just getting involved. I mean, I would organize events in your community. Like, I would just take that responsibility if you can. Do cleanups, things like that. How do you get rid of things that have non-recyclable plastics on them?
I don't purchase them. That's
Yeah,
number
well,
one.
if you already have it,
Yeah.
Maybe sell things, donate things. But a lot of times things are really hard. Tea bags, I know you can compost certain tea bags. They do have plastic in them. But it's just kind of avoiding them to begin with. If you already have those things, I mean, if you have to throw something away, it's okay, because you already bought it in the previous. But really
you can just like be better next time.
Right, just being proactive about it. What age did you become interested in going zero waste? I was 19. I'm 21 now, so 2 years ago. Because I'm trying to go zero waste, but know what to do with all my tea in the bags and packaging that's already in the pantry.
Just
use it
consume
up.
it.
Yeah, just use it
There
up.
you go.
Consume it. You can compost it. You can just throw it away. Just consume what you have. I'm trying to declutter my room. How do I dispose of odd end office supplies? I don't need like plastic coated paper clips and push pins and stuff.
Donate.
Donate.
Donate to
Donate,
schools
yeah.
or thrift stores, so other people can use it.
Yeah, there's a lot of business owners, things like that might find that helpful. Students, just try to find it. There's always people who need that stuff. I'm in college and trying to go zero waste, or at least low waste, and when I'm on my own it's fine, but when I come home for break I find that that in my mom's home it's much harder.
Just do what you can do.
Relax, do what you can when you can. Don't freak out. Don't
Don't be
enjoy
hard
being
on
home for
yourself.
break. Don't be. It's okay. But just educate them. Educate your family. Educate everyone in your life. But it is going to be hard. So just don't worry about it. Just try your best, but don't freak out if it doesn't work out. So if you have any advice on being with or visiting people who aren't zero waste, I'd love to hear from it. When you're visiting people who aren't zero waste.
Well, some people stay at my home. I prepare a trash bin for them. I don't force my beliefs on them. They know that I don't own a trash can, but if someone's visiting, I would provide a trash bin for them and just dispose of it and just continue being zero waste on my own.
Yeah.
And if people care about you, they would compromise. But I'm not saying that people don't care about you if they don't do zero waste, but it's just that you just have to do it and be firm about your beliefs. Just do you.
Okay, this is our last question. All right. So I'm 15 and I'm super passionate about helping the environment, but it's so hard because I still live with my family. They are not totally on board with it. What do I do? We kind of answered this earlier. It's the idea of really establishing your own life within that life. So buying your own food if possible, or buying certain snacks that might be zero waste that you can take to school, or being a zero waste student and reusing like things that you already own, and just really doing what you can with resources.
Educate yourself
Educate your
first.
family, educate yourself, but really just try your best. Where you're not going to be perfect, you're still living at home, and I know how frustrating that is, and how much you wish you could do so much but you can't. So it's totally understandable. So just do little
the
steps,
best
and those
you
little
can.
impacts make a huge impact. So I hope
Don't underestimate your
underestimate
efforts.
it. You are doing so much, and it really matters and helps. And I hope that you still stay encouraged, because in a few years you can kind of take that control and live the lifestyle you want. But for now, you can only do a certain amount, and that's okay. That's still a lot.
Right, and there's a lot of people like us that you can consult or
Consult and meet and get involved in the little social media
if you
community.
need a support system, we are here.
I mean, we're Instagram
This
friends.
is like the proof that it's not impossible to live zero waste. There's like 2 people right here. So
All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for asking all the questions. We really
Those are
appreciate
awesome
it. Yeah, you guys
questions.
really did a good job. Please make sure to check out Jamie. Jamie, say all your social media again.
okay, it's at JamieKate11 on Instagram, and I have my YouTube channel linked down on my description box. So just go check it out. I'll be making more videos.
I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm in California the whole week. I'll be meeting a bunch of YouTubers and things. If you have any more questions for any different zero wasters, leave them in the comments, or give them to me. Send them to me on Instagram through the private message, and I will try to get those answered for everyone. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye guys.